I remembered the 6-month mark since Dad went missing. I always tried my best to stay positive and hopeful, but the thought that he may never come back lingered in the back of my head, all day, every day. The last time I saw him was a bright, refreshing Wednesday morning. The calm before the storm, as one might say. I was getting ready for school. I despise school. Well, I suppose school itself is okay. It's the people and the environment. Any teenager in or out of school can take one look at you and decide if they like you or not. And it could be for the most ignorant, invalid, most stupidest reason, like your race, your ethnicity, what you wear, your religion. Anyways, I said goodbye to Dad, reluctantly. He was acting a bit strange, tense almost. But I only realised this after he was gone. He drove me to school, the same as every other day. As I got out, I noticed he was wearing his best suit, but I didn't question him. Dad was quite eccentric and unusual with his style, so naturally I just thought this was his new look. His beard was grown out quite a lot and his face was drawn and tired looking. He didn't have that spark of mischievousness in his eyes. I was kind of worried, but to be honest, I completely forgot about it. I had 3 tests and I was stressing over those. I did check up on him a lot though, when both Mama and Dad were busy working. But he always told me not to worry, and that some days are just bad days, that's all. You have to experience sadness to know happiness. And I remind myself that not every day is going to be a good day, and that's just how it is. Dad was the type of person who never missed a beat. He always found ways to make life better. Nothing else seemed out of the ordinary that day, until that evening. Mum was getting worried when he didn't answer any calls, and the next day when he didn't turn up, we called the police. A day later, he was confirmed a missing person. But now that we found him, it's like a big chunk of him is missing. There is pain and sadness in his eyes. Sitting here in this dreadfully gloomy courtroom, I feel less anxious because we've gotten justice. But have we really? I still feel numb, like the day Dad disappeared. When he was found in that forest, basically left to die, he was in so much pain, physically and mentally. Luckily, a woman who was out for a walk spotted him and called for help. Dad is still in the hospital, but he's scarred. I look at this cold-blooded person and think, how could someone do this? Get into drugs in the first place? Attempt murder. All the pain he caused my family. All the nights I spent crying and worrying about my dad. All the days that led into weeks, that led into months looking for him. All because he got my dad into drugs. You're probably asking the same question as I am. Why? Why did Dad do this? What made him do it? How did I never realise? Sometimes I lie awake at night and think to myself, this is my fault. How did I never realise? Dad was wearing that suit the day he went missing because he was going to meet the dealer. He was tense because he knew he couldn't afford it. There's this quote, I read it somewhere, but it's very powerful. There is no greater sorrow than to recall misery the time we were happy. It's just more relatable than anything I've ever read or heard. But again, why? Well, the thing I never caught on to was the drug dealer was actually Michael Sheehan, Dad's best friend from school. They reconnected last year and Michael convinced Dad to do drugs. He said they would relieve all of his stress and worries. Turns out they just tear families apart. He kept the drugs at his work, which was accounting. He had his own office. He told people it was best to stay out of his office unless necessary because he worked better without distraction. They found the drugs after he disappeared. I feel a bit better when the judge says, Michael Sheehan, you've been sentenced to life in prison for forged labour, attempted murder and drug possession and misuse. I am not going to be forgiving Michael anytime soon, but I am satisfied. and I'm going home to my dad, because I still have him. In the words of Marissa Stein, everything happens for a reason. People will push you around and take advantage of you. So eventually you give up on everyone and trust nobody. All these struggles that we face is common throughout the world, and they make us stronger in the heart and mind. All those nights of stressing and worrying are what makes us a better person, and that's what bids us a happy and wonderful life in the long run.